Kevin Arnig is the CEO and co-founder of Sodalicious. Sodalicious started out as an idea.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna, I feel like a stand-up comedian all of a sudden, like, thank you. I just flew in and boy, are my wings tired. Okay, I have a PowerPoint presentation, you guys, and I haven't done one of these since I was in college, so this was a fun event for me. The giveaway tonight is there's a $25 gift card to Sodalicious, and also one of these fancy Provo City Pepsi t-shirts that Pepsi's happy about. And now I can't reach. Lord. That's gonna stay in. Hold the microphone for a second. It's not there. That's not what my screen's doing. All right. I don't know. We just had it. Okay. So I'm talking about establishing a brand, creating brand loyalty, and overcoming obstacles when you're trying to get your business up and running. How many of you guys have been to Sodalicious before? Pretty much almost everybody here. So, drinking one right now. Oh, yeah. You didn't see the no outside food or drink sign as you walked in. Good, yeah, okay. Because I had to clear mine to get mine in. Okay, so let me tell you really quickly. This is my wife, Annie. And I'll tell you the story quickly of Sodalicious. So Annie's a costume designer for film and stuff like that. And she was working on, actually with Mr. Foss over here. We were in Sicily a couple years ago filming for the church's Bible video stuff. And every day we were having this like really thick Italian hot chocolate. It was just like, have you ever had that Italian sipping chocolate? It's so good. And just over there, we just had it every single day. And got home and couldn't find it anywhere, and we thought we'd really like to have that. Meanwhile, the other thing that Annie, and then we have a set of partners. There's Kent and Anna K. Finlay. And okay, there we go. Now hit
full screen.
But it's not there.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, no, you hit I don't
Lost
know.
the mouse. So there it is.
Slide. You're supposed to go to slideshow. Over there.
Here?
Yeah. Now hit from beginning. Okay. The HDMI cable here didn't work tonight, so we're on a low def version of this. I'll just go to the next slide. Okay, so the Sodalicious story. Sorry, I had to add Kent because I didn't have a picture of all four of us together. At least I couldn't find one, so that kind of looks like, except Kent's like 6'6", so that doesn't do him justice. And Anna's like 5'0". So, anyways, but this is us in Sicily a couple years ago filming, and I was an extra and looked like that. Anyways, so Annie and Anna do wardrobe, and they were always, like I told you, we love the Italian hot chocolate, but also they were always flavoring drinks on set. Just, had their favorites. They named them. There was the wardrobe special. There was a bunch of different ones, and one day, actually, it was right after we got back from Sicily, a week after, some guy said to him, well, you guys should start a business, start doing this. And so Anna went home that night. She couldn't sleep. She came back and the next morning said, Annie, I think we got to do this. You want to do this with me? And Annie said, sure. So later that night, I'm sitting at the dinner table, just eating my food. And Annie walks in from filming. And she says, we're going to start a soda shack. You want to start a soda shack? Just like that fast. She was all excited and woo, high energy. And I said, sure. I just don't want to spend a lot of money. What are we doing here? So anyways, we got together and we put our plan together. This was May of 2013 of how we were going to do it. And the idea was a snow cone shack, but with flavored soda. we figured, oh, we'd have one person working in there for the summer, we put it in a parking lot of a grocery store or something, and quickly learned that you need to have, or there's different regulations for snow cone shacks and like soda, turns out. There's different plumbing regulations, electrical, stuff like that. So we needed to find a location. We looked and we looked and we looked. And us not having any experience in this realm ever, stuff seemed really expensive. I mean, to rent some of these places was like anywhere from $3,900 a month to $5,000 a month. Just, how is this possible? And we knew we wanted to be close to downtown Provo, and we saw that the back half of, nobody was using the back half of Johnny's Barbershop. You guys all, I guess you've been there, where Johnny's Barbershop is. Anyways, so we there wasn't a for rent sign or anything like that, but we just figured out who owned it and called the guy, and he said, yeah, I'll rent it to you. And the price was super right, and so we started. But we had to dig out the floor drains. I mean, it was a 1977 insurance office back there. It was, and I mean, it hadn't been used. The last thing it had been used for was when Steve Clark ran for mayor. It was his campaign headquarters. So the whole place was just full of Steve Clark for mayor stuff, and which I should have just gone and taken those signs and just put them in people's yards every election, I'm kicking myself that I threw all that stuff away because that would have been so great. Anyways, so that's kind of how we got rolling. We opened up in October of 2013. So like I said, we came up with had the idea, let's do this in May of 2013, but didn't get open until October 2013. And I'll address that a little bit later when I talk about overcoming obstacles. You would think it's such a simple concept that you could just do this, but there's a lot more involved. So let me go to the next slide here. We're going to talk about creating a brand. So knowing your customer. This was easy because we were the customer. Annie and Anna Kay were always making these drinks. I liked them. They wanted something. They wanted a place in Provo where they could go and get their favorite drink. And it had to be, there were certain things you like. You like the right kind of pebble ice. You like it in a foam cup because it keeps it cold and it doesn't sweat. And you like the right kind of syrup add-ins. And so we felt like, hey, we want this thing. And they felt like, hey, we want this thing. Let's create our own place with this product. So knowing your customer, that's how we got started. We've learned a lot more about our customer since we've started, because it's not just the mom, it's the business professional that likes to come at lunchtime or first thing in the morning. It's not just but it's not just that, it's the student that likes to come late at night studying for finals or whatever. So, and it is the mom that comes twice a day too. So once right after she drops off the kids, and then once right before she picks up the kids. So those are the times you don't really want to get in line, because that's when it's just all minivans, you're in trouble. Okay, so we've learned a lot more about our customer. The next thing about creating our brand was we wanted to make something that I had a boss a long time ago. Well, I don't know how long ago it was, 6-7 years ago. Do you guys know Alexander's Print Advantage? Okay, I worked for Jeff Alexander, and he puts his name on everything. Alexander's on notepads, on pens, on hot air balloons. Yes, you see that at the Freedom Festival. He puts his name on everything. And one day I was kind of teasing him about it, and he said, well, it's the stickiness factor. He said, I was going out on a sales call, and he gave me this stack of notepads, and he said, just hand these to people, because then my name just sits on their desk. They always see it. And so that was a big key for us, was making sure that we got a cup that had our logo on it, and so people saw it all the time. So everything that left our shop was branded Sodalicious. And so that was, we made that decision right up front, knowing that, first of all, to get printed cups, I don't know if you know about getting printed cups, but it's expensive. You have to order 50,000 of each size each time you order. So we didn't have that kind of money to dump into it. What's that? Or floor space. Yeah. Where do you hold all those things? Where do you store all those things? And so, and we met with like some of the different distributors, U.S. Foods, Nicholas, all these guys, and they literally wouldn't give us the time of day. Tangent for a second. We had the hardest time with Coke. Coke was like, because we asked for a 10-head machine with 10 Coke flavors, and he was like, I don't think you're gonna make it here. Like, I'll give you a 4-head machine, but and Pepsi was great from the get-go, and hence, like, my love with Pepsi is they were great from the get-go, and they gave us whatever we asked for. But going back to the cups, nobody wanted to take that kind of risk and either store them for us or, unless we put up a ton of money to buy them all, it was just, it didn't make sense. So we just figured, let's just sticker the cups, right? So we hired a bunch of little Oompa Loompas, and that's what I call them, because they would just sit up, they're upstairs in Johnny's barbershop, there's this little tiny attic space, right? And you would not believe the amount of stuff we've crammed in that place. We actually had to put a freezer in there, and we had to have a bobcat lift it up, put it sideways through the window. So if we ever leave there, that's not coming out. It's just part of the deal. So we get these little Oompa Loompas, and they are just stickering till their little Oompa Loompa thumbs are blistered and falling off. But the great thing about that was it had a life. There was this life to this cup all of a sudden. And I'm going to flip on to the next thing here. Getting the word out. This is how we got the word out. So we had that stickiness factor. And first thing we did to get the word out was, I remember we were going to start doing social media. And I kind of had this, for some reason, because I didn't want to spend any money on this business, I didn't want to use conventional media to get the word out. So I didn't want to use the newspaper, and I didn't want to any of that stuff. I mean, we went on Good Things Utah one morning, and I went in a cup costume that I later got beat up in. So no joke. Can I tell you guys quickly the story about how I got beat up in a cup costume? All right, so my sister-in-law is just embarrassed for me right now. Annie, my costume designer wife, makes me this giant Sodalicious cup costume. It looks just like a Sodalicious cup. It's got a straw coming out the top and everything, and I look like a big white foam cup with Sodalicious on the front. And I'm like, and it's made out of PVC and all this stuff, and I'm literally strapped into this contraption, and I've got these like cartoon hand gloves and these big cartoon like sneakers on my, like big fluffy sneakers on my feet, and it's Halloween. And I'm thinking, Gurus is having a party down on Center Street. Everybody's dressed up. I'm going to walk down there and just like drum up some business. We've been open for 2 weeks. And I'm just going to go dance my way down there. I don't know if you guys have seen the Justin Timberlake Saturday Night Live thing where he's dressed up like a can of soup or a cup of noodles or whatever it is. Anyways, I walk down there, 3 blocks down to Center Street. Just parties just raging, just going, just people dancing, going crazy. And I get in there, and I'm just a big cup going. And next thing I know, 3 dudes come up and grab me and just break the cup down to nothing. Just break it up. And all I can do, because I got the stupid cartoon fluffy hands on and fluffy feet on, is swear at them. Like, I'm just yelling at them as these like 3 like college dudes are just destroying my costume. And then they just took off. So here I am now. I'm no longer the happy dancing cup, and this is my new business. And I'm thinking, I got to get out of here. So one of the most humiliating moments of my life was walking the 3 blocks back to Sodalicious. Now, I have to tell you, on the way there, Valor was having their big Halloween show where like Neon Trees was singing and all these other people were singing. And on the way there, I just met with everybody and was like having the best time with everybody in line. So I wasn't going to go back on that side of the street. But there I am, just kind of limping along with like PVC pipes falling out as I'm walking away. So, but that gets me to my friend Courtney Kendrick, who I'd never met before, but she came, I don't know why she came to Sodalicious. I don't know if it was Anna Kay or Annie or somebody said we were opening up this business. And she came in one day, like we'd have been open not even a week. And she sat down on the stairs inside there and just talked to me. And it was, because she's really into downtown Provo and how do we help downtown Provo businesses succeed. And she gave me some really good advice that I've followed to this day. And one of those things was to be ourselves, to let our personality come out, like through social media. And because at first we'd hired somebody to do our social media, and it just didn't feel like, it wasn't our voice. It wasn't us speaking. It wasn't what we wanted to get across. We think we're pretty funny people, and so we wanted that to come across, just our kind of sideways sense of humor. So we started doing that ourselves, and I don't know if you follow our Instagram, but there it is. It'll make you laugh sometimes. It'll really make you laugh. So getting the word out. So Courtney was there, and she was one of the first people that kind of blogged about us, and that was huge for us. And then, I don't know, a couple weeks later, Allison's show came through, which I thought she would have already made her fashionably late entrance in here tonight. But Allison's show then posted about us on Instagram, and it just took off. And then other bloggers started posting. And then there was just kind of a group of girls from BYU that latched on and were coming every single day and posting about us every single day. And they were like in love with it. They were making videos about it. It just spread through social media like we couldn't believe it. And that was more valuable to us than going on Good Things Utah or like we won the Best of Utah Valley or something, and when the City Weekly thing, which I kind of like that one, but like the Best of Utah Valley was just like, those things aren't really, you like pay for votes to buy those things. They're not real, and which we didn't win the second year because we didn't put any effort into it, but we realized that's not where we want to be. We don't want to be spending money on advertising. We just really believe that we have a great soda. But more than importantly, which I'm going to go to next, we create an experience for our customer. So from the get-go, I mean, the very first couple of weeks, it was just literally, it was our neighbors and friends just coming through, supporting us. But as pretty soon word caught on, people started coming, and we'd never met them before. We're like, so surprised, like, I don't know who you are. How did you hear about us in the back of the barbershop, And like, someone said you're dealing caffeine and sugar out of the back of the barbershop. And, and they'd roll up and we established these great friendships with people. And so it was kind of the Cheers mentality where everybody knows your name. We wanted to know your name. We wanted to know your drink. So when you roll through, we can say, hey, Tammy, you're regular today. And she's so happy that and a little almost wants to apologize. Like, don't judge me that you know my drink. People would say that so many times. Don't judge me. But here's the thing we realized. People would come through, sometimes multiple times a day, for this happy experience. You know how it is. I mean, if you're in the same boat as me or my wife, and you wake up in the morning and you get your morning going, and then you got to have that drink pretty quick, or else you're just grumpy and you're gonna lose it, right? You're just snappy, and you're just like, well, where's my cigarettes? And type thing. It's just you're at that place. And anyways, I lost my train of thought with the cigarettes. Sorry. But yeah, you know that feeling. And so, but we noticed people were coming through, not just happy, but there were times that people were rolling up. There were women that would roll up to the drive-thru, and they're bawling. They're just crying. They've just had this horrible moment happen in their marriage or in their life, and all they want is a cookie and their drink, their special drink, and someone to go, hey, we got you. It's okay. It gave them that comfort just for a second. Someone tweeted the other day that got up early. They had to go stand in line at the Social Security office. And they stopped at Sodalicious first, and they tweeted that, I had to get my Sodalicious because I got to stand in line at 2 hours for the Social Security office. And I quoted that back on Twitter and just said, yeah, but true Social Security lies within the walls of your own Sodalicious cup. That's really where peace and happiness lies. So connecting with your customer, just knowing who they are, listening to what they want. They wanted us to frost other cookies. Great, we'll frost other cookies. Whatever it was that they wanted from us, we were happy to help them out and give to them. Minus a couple things, but for the most part. I mean, John once asked for bran muffins. Protein drinks, yes. So we didn't listen to everybody, but okay. I talked about creating experience. Having those fun times, creating just literally a magical experience for people. Let's go over to the next part, which was obstacles or overcoming competition, trials, setbacks, whatever. I told you in the beginning that we started this in May of 2013 and didn't open until the middle of October 2013. The majority of that time was spent dealing with Provo City's community development. It's a backward system. Sorry, Provo City, if you're listening. They know that. We've told the mayor this. It's kind of a backward system that they have, where you submit a plan, then a week later, some committee reviews it, and then a week later, they give you their response, and then a week later, you can respond back to it. It's just a slow process. And we'd never done something like this before, so we didn't know the ways to push it through or who the right person was to talk to make that happen. And that was super frustrating for us. And so that's really where this, at least for me, I learned this principle of make progress every day. Those of you out there that have your own business or are working on something, it's easy to get bogged down sometimes, or it's easy to procrastinate, or it's easy just to put it off, or you've already had so much stuff you've been working on that day and the kids are screaming at you and you just are done. But if you can just make a little progress every single day, it helps keep that momentum going, and that momentum is so important. The next thing I was going to talk about is overcoming competition. Wait, let's back up again for a second. Some of the other obstacles that we face dealing with this. Hiring people. Has anybody here had to hire people before? Shaking your head, yeah. And it's, okay, you don't like it, right? It's a tough situation trying to hire people and find the right people. And so that was one of our real trials, is we found great people that could really connect, and then some people that would be great in the interview, and then we'd put them out on the floor and they'd go out to take a car and they'd be just totally silent and just, or what do you want? Just not, and then we get complaints, why are these people so grumpy? When we want our employees to be happy and just your best friend. So that was a trial that we had to go through. We had to figure out kind of a system for hiring. I think one of the other trials we've dealt with was there's a lot to do, and there's a lot that we're not good at. I don't know if you saw our very first website, but I created it on GoDaddy the night before we had to go on, I don't know, one of those TV shows, Channel 4 News or something, and it was like my 3-year-old could do a better job, no joke. And we left it that way for a year, over a year. But that wasn't our forte. We didn't want to spend money on it. But we've started to learn, and we've definitely gotten a lot better at this, hiring the right people for the jobs we don't want to do. We'd gotten to a point where that Johnny's store was taking up, for me and Annie and Anna Kay, all of our time every single day. And we were getting calls constantly. You want a franchise? You want a franchise? You want a franchise? And we just thought, we don't even know how we would go about doing that. And we talked to some people that had franchised before and got their advice, but we thought there's no way we're going to expand. We're for sure not the three of us going to go open, or four of us with Kent, go open another location. It's just too much work. I mean, laying down the tile, doing all this stuff that we had to do to get into that place, just seemed like a nightmare to start over. And then we met Kevin Santiago. He's actually sitting in the back there. He's our expansion partner, and he's expanded, helped lots of businesses expand. And I randomly ran into him one day. It turns out that his parents lived next door to my wife's parents, but we'd never met before. And he said something to us that went something like, you can expand. How'd it go? Decide on the lifestyle that you want, and we'll expand accordingly. And that kind of opened up our eyes, like, okay, this guy knows how to do it. We clearly don't know how to do it, but we need to decide. And when he's saying decide on the lifestyle you want, do you want to work 60 hours a week? Do you want to work 30 hours a week? Do you not want to work at all? Where do you want to be in this flow with Sodalicious? And so that helped us out a ton, was just finding the right people and delegating that stuff to them. I'm trying to think, was there one more? I mean, there's been lots of trials, obstacles that we dealt with. I think the one that surprised us the most, or has been the most challenging for us, is all of our personalities together, trying to make everybody gel and on the same page. And it's great that we have so many voices, but sometimes we fight a lot. I mean, in a good way, in a loving way, but yeah, sometimes we really butt heads on stuff. Okay, so this is about competition. When we decided to do, so our biggest competition here in Provo is Swig, right? And when we decided to do this, first of all, we didn't even know that Swig existed. It wasn't until like July or something like that I'd first seen a Swig when I was coming back from California. But we were just pressing forward. We wanted our drink, and I remember I was digging the plumbing, like to put in the floor drains in the back of that barber shop, and I'm like 3 feet in the ground digging this thing, and I get a phone call. Someone says, "Well, Swig just announced they're moving to Provo," and I just remember having this feeling like, oh no, do I just dig 3 more feet and just bury myself? I really had this like, oh no, like they make drinks too, and what's gonna happen? And I just had this thought right then and there, no, you just have to somehow own the fact that you're in the back of the barber shop and run with it, and then let people compare, and if people like them or any other competitor better, then great, you learned a lesson. You don't have any business being in the soda business. So they opened, I think, 3 or 4 weeks after us, and it was actually such a huge blessing because we just focused on who we were and what we wanted to create for our customer and didn't worry about it, and we still haven't worried about it. We just focus on what we want to do and go for it. There's a great book. I have like a full reading list. I came last month and what was the name of that company? Solly Baby. They had like a reading list and they had all this stuff. It was really nice. Wow, so I came up with a reading list for you guys too. But mine's totally different than theirs. I just lost my train of thought again. What was I saying? I read a book, yes. I read a book once. And it was called Blue Ocean Strategy. Have anybody read Blue Ocean Strategy? 1, 2 people here. And it totally opened my eyes. Because it was like, oh, I don't have to be in this rat race with somebody else. I can just have this nice, beautiful, big ocean in front of me and do it however we want to do it. It's up to us. We don't have to worry about We don't have to worry about it. There's plenty of market share for all of us. And so we kind of we ended up reaching out to the other soda shops around Utah and established these really great friendships with most of them. And we just realized there's enough here for all of us. Let's just go do whatever you want, go do your thing. And that's, I think, with anything in life, if you're trying to create a product or you're trying to bring something to market, it really is, instead of worrying about what the other guy's doing, just get in that flow where it's like, no, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm in my groove. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And literally allow it to roll out. And we've really done that, and it has been it's been so fun to watch. It's been so fun to be a part of. It's definitely been a roller coaster. There's been really hard days and happy days and crying and laughing and everything. We've been stretched beyond ways we ever thought. So those are my thoughts on overcoming competition, is really just not dealing with the competition and just allowing yourself to do what you want to do. I'm going to really quickly run through the reading list for you guys. Blue Ocean Strategy. How Will You Measure Your Life? And that was actually on the reading list last month if you were here. It's a great, great book. Also, The Innovator's Dilemma. On Innovation by the Harvard Business Review. Really, anything by the Harvard Business Review I've loved for helping our business. Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. Where's your mindset at when you're trying to make this business of yours work or to create? Are you in a fixed mindset? Are you in an open, growth mindset where anything can happen, where anything you think is impossible can actually just happen? I mean, you don't have the thought that something is impossible. You'll See It When You Believe It by Dr. Wayne Dyer. That's just, for me personally, the book that changed my life. So there's some really great stuff in there. Virus of the Mind, I love that with marketing, how something gets stuck in your head and then you transfer it to somebody else's head and it just keeps going, just like a computer virus. And then Slash, the autobiography of Slash, ladies and gentlemen, from Guns N' Roses. You might think that's a crazy thing, but I'm going to tell you why I like it. We were in Austria on this Sicily trip, and we're on the bus, and I'm reading this book about Slash, right? And you think, what does Slash have to do with business? But it was so fascinating to read about the start of Guns N' Roses, at least to me it was, to read about the start of Guns N' Roses and how this band went from like literally living in a storage unit to becoming the biggest band in the world. And I really learned a lot from this book. But it just, and how they did it totally their way. They didn't want to do it the record company's way. They didn't want to, because it's always been done this way before or whatever. They did it their way because that's the way that flowed for them. That's the way that worked for them. Now we know they blew up and they're not friends and all that stuff. But really, that was just, it was a big thing that unlocked in my mind, thinking, we can go do this. People say, well, you can't be in that barbershop breaks every single rule of commercial real estate. You can't be there. We're there. It's working, and people shake their heads. So you can't just open up a shop selling soda and make it. We're there. We're making it. We did it our way, And so those are my books that I would suggest. And that brings us to the conclusion of this evening's presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer questions. I will give a free drink per question. Yeah. How we've grown. Yes, I didn't even mention that in the beginning. So we started off with the barbershop, and again, like I said, we were like, we can't do another one, this is too much, until Santiago came on. And now we opened one at the Village at South Campus. Has anybody been to the Village at South Campus location? A few of you. It's like 100% the opposite of Johnny's Barbershop, right? It's big and spacious. The bathrooms are like, had nickel-plated walls, and like, it's like ridiculous. The Awful Waffle used to be there, and when we first talked to them, we thought, there's no way, like, that doesn't make any sense for us to go in there at all. Because it didn't have a drive-through and all this stuff, but it came with a bakery. That was nice. We were able to start baking our own cookies and cut our costs there. And there ended up being a lot of advantages to it, marketing-wise and things like that. So we opened up that one. Then we opened up, in May, we opened up one in Orem, right across the street from Target. It was already a soda place called Guzzles, which I think is a spectacular name for a drink place. But it wasn't making it happen. It just wasn't doing it. So that guy closed it down, and he let us rent it out from him, and so that's good. We've got a few more locations in the works right now. Free drink card for you. Yes, sir.
So you seem like a really high energy guy.
Yeah.
Like what? I guess. So I realize a lot of people go to Sodalicious for therapy.
The caffeine.
Yeah. I guess what do you personally do to ground yourself though? Because it's like mountain dew every day. Really,
My wife just sighed very heavily because we were having an argument just the other night. Like, we went into the baby's room and shut the door, and we're like, literally, like, we don't really like argue, like, I mean, loudly, get super frustrated with each other. But our 8-year-old's like, Mom, Dad, are you guys getting divorced? and we're like, no. I come from, like, my mom's been divorced 7 times, my dad's been divorced 3 times. So like, he like sees, he doesn't want that to happen to him, right? So that's why he's asking that. He's super sensitive to it. And we came out of the room, we're like, Leo, we're arguing about where we're gonna go on vacation. We're not getting divorced. If we were getting divorced, we wouldn't be talking about where we're going on vacation. So for me to stay grounded, this really happened. This was a turning point, at least in my life, was when we were on that trip to Sicily. I have family in Austria we went there for a weekend to visit them. And when I was there, like, I went to the place where my great grandfather was born, and it's just in this like beautiful valley up in the Alps. It's like the Sound of Music, like just living in the Sound of Music there. And except they don't wear curtains. That's the only thing. But I was there, and on the way out, we had to take a bus from Villach to Venice. And on the way out, coming over the Alps, I was like, looking out the window, I was like, started crying. I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with me right now, but nothing in my life had ever felt like home, like Austria felt like home. And I was just like, Annie, I have got to figure out a way to do something to come back here every year. Like, this is something I have to do in my life. Like, I have to be in this place because it recharges me. So that's what we were arguing about. Should we go to Austria or San Francisco? So, but I've also learned happy wife, happy life. So San Francisco, here we come. Anyways, so that's what really, to stay grounded. It's I have something to look forward to, where I can just completely go away, turn off, and because it's really hard for me just to turn it off. You know, the phone rings all day long. Plus, I'm trying to keep up with social media. That's another way we connect with our customers. Is we love interacting with our customers on social media. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay. Oh, free drink for you. Yes.
So you talked about how competitors don't really bother you guys in a way.
Yeah.
So what are your worries about your future successes, and how do you get through those, or do you just kind of put them on the side as well?
What are our worries about our future successes? You know, for me, it's hiring the right people. I just worry, are we going to have the right people to staff these new locations that we have coming up? Where do we find, because not everywhere is this bubble that we live in where you have really great, totally happy, just chippy, cheery, smiley workers, you know? And so that's a concern for me. What else what do we worry about? Yeah, just making sure if that carbonation goes down, oh my gosh, it's just like, stop everything. We had to go out one Friday afternoon, like middle of the day, just busiest time of the week, and it goes down. And I had the mayor's office texting me going, "You're out of carbonation." I'm like, "Thank you, we're working on it." You know, I'm in crisis mode over here, and they text back, "Yes, so are we." You know, it's like Friday afternoon, we need our drink. So, you know, just those things we worry about is just, and the other thing we worry about is how do you make it the same in the next location? Because it can be the same carbonation, it can be the same mix on the drinks, everything, but because it's a different location, people have one and they go, "Oh, that's just not the same. That's just not the same," you know, and how do you create that unity or duplication, thank you, across all locations? So that is something I worry about, so thank you. Free drink for you.
Do you have an answer for that?
Do I have an answer for it? How do I? I think with duplication, it comes down to systems. Just having the right systems in place to make that happen. You know, a drink is made a certain way, and it's got to be made a certain way at every single location. You know, you greet a customer the same way at every location. Everything down to you deposit the money the same way at every location. It's just all those systems need to be the same, and I think that's how we're attempting to do that. Free drink for you. Yes. Sorry, I'll get to you.
Do you use a social media aggregator type thing, or do you just individually keep up with each? Because that's my struggle right now, is keeping up with all the different platforms.
No, I don't. We don't use one. That has been difficult at times, but you know, I'm pretty much on that social media all day long. So, but I enjoy it. Like, I really love it. I love the connection.
What's your best selling drink, and how many people are you serving a month?
Oh, okay. So, best selling drink is the AK Special, which is Dr. Pepper. Is that your drink? Okay. Yeah, it's Dr. Pepper, coconut, and vanilla. Most people like it extra dirty. What's that? Oh, you put lime in yours. Okay. I haven't heard of that. That's awesome. Try that out. But so that's the number one selling drink. And then how many customers, like total, out of all the locations are we serving a month? I don't know what it is. It's got to be, it's 50 or 60,000 tickets, like receipts a month. So somewhere around there.
That's right.
Yeah, drink for you, Darren. Yes, sir.
I just had a question. So you mentioned that before you started this new adventure, you were doing like acting and costume design and all these other things. Are you channeling all of your energy into Sodalicious, or are you still pursuing other things?
All of my energy goes into Sodalicious, and my wife just had a baby, and 8-9 months ago. So you haven't done really any costume design since then, have you? And Anna Kay, she's actually working on a project right now, and so is Kent. So they're still doing film, but this is like my full-time job. This is what I do, and all my energy is going into it. Free drink for you. Will you pass that back to that gentleman? Yes. Oh, sorry.
You should say that we started this as like, Anna wanted to pay for kids' missions, and I wanted like an investment fund so I could do what I really wanted to do. And
Did everybody hear that? So we started this out when we were just going to do it like a snow cone shack, right? That Anna wanted to pay for her 3 boys' missions, and we wanted to create just some extra money to put in a fund for some other business ideas that we have. So it was just that was purely what it was for. None of us thought it would be a full-time job for us or anything like that. We thought there'd be like one person working in the snow cone shack. So
So kind of
blogger, and she said the one piece of advice she gives to people with businesses is never go into business with your friends. So how do you guys balance that and stay friends and stay good working partnerships? I am in a small business with my parents, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's great, sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah.
How have you been able to stay friends and be in business together?
That is like $1 million question right there, because that's probably the biggest trial that we've had to deal with. But the smartest thing we ever did in the very beginning was we got an accountant and we got an attorney before we did anything else. And we put down in writing what our operating agreement was. And so that operating agreement has saved all of us at different times when we think, well, this is unfair, or that's off the rails, or whatever. That operating agreement holds us together. So, but yeah, it's difficult going into business with your friends, so don't. Yes?
You were talking about how social media is your jam and
Yeah.
overcoming obstacles and stuff. Did you consider not having your ideal Instagram handle in the beginning an obstacle, or was it easier
I-
not to get it?
Not having our ideal Instagram handle.
At the very beginning,
We were Sodalicious, Utah, right? And there was a girl in like Toronto or someplace in Montreal that was Sodalicious, and she would get she got so bugged when people would tag her as Sodalicious. I mean, she would like write back really nasty responses to people.
At the beginning to get it, and she wouldn't budge.
Yeah, in the very beginning we tried, and then I just said, well, if you ever need money, reach out to me. I might have some for you. So she got to a point in her life where she needed money, and she came with an offer, and we negotiated and made that happen. So but yeah, it didn't hurt to it never hurts to ask, right? And just see what happens and float that out there, and it really actually happened at a perfect time too for us. So free drink for you. I'm just gonna put it here. You'll have to come get it because my cord won't go that way. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns?
Where in Austria is your family from?
Oh, they're from the Multal Valley. It's like Spital area, Villach, Finkenstein. I don't know if you're southern. Yeah, right there. Okay, free drink for you. You guys just start asking questions. Yeah, what's the square root of? Okay.
For a while, I you said like you just really didn't compromise on what you want to do, like based on the slash.
Yeah, slash, man.
Did you have to in the beginning, just like based on, I don't know, like lack of money, or lack of funding, or lack of like, did you kind of have to compromise for a sec and maybe do it like the easier way, the more like methodical way to like get your end result of being able to do it your way? Was that ever? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I feel like the only compromise we made was that we didn't get any money out of the business until like over a year had passed. I mean, that's
We self-funded the whole thing, and so, yeah, and it took a little while before we got the money back for ourselves. We put in some cash, and then we put the rest on credit cards, and but that to me doesn't seem like it was a compromise. Okay, a sacrifice, but you know, here's the thing: we would go to Provo City and say we want to do this, and no one ever told us no. It was just like, well, okay, if you want to do that, then you have to do this, 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 and this. And we would go and do it, you know. And even like the owner of that old house that's next to the barbershop, right? He owns the land underneath the barbershop, but he doesn't own the barbershop. And he was like, yeah, sure, if you guys can get the city to approve it, I'll rent it to you. Yeah, go for it. He thought there was no way that was going to happen. And if we didn't keep at it, it wouldn't have happened. And so he was like super shocked when, yeah, hey, we got it. Let's go. And he was like, I don't need more money. But I don't feel like we really ever compromised. We kind of just did it our way because there was always this feeling, and we've always had this feeling of, if Sodalicious goes away tomorrow, it's fine. The only thing that's not fine is that we can't go get our drink every day. But really, it's fine. We've already won out of this deal. Like the connections we've made and the people we've met and the relationships we've established are are so valuable to us, and we love the people we've gotten to know, and just all these customers that have become friends, like really, like seriously, like people that I'm like, oh, like I've known you my whole life, and it's my first time meeting them, and I'm meeting them out of the drive-through window, and they have become some of our best friends. So, yeah, I think we've always just had this attitude of, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not like it's just something we're doing. Now, being a couple years down the road, and now it's like a full-time gig and everything, it pays the bills, and we're discussing where we're going on vacation. That's a little bit of a different story. But still, we've won. For us, we've gotten more than we could have ever imagined out of this deal. Free drink for you. You pass that back. Thanks. Yes.
I was going to say, my question is, can I have a free drink? But I have
Oh.
The drive-through situation.
What's wrong with it?
I mean, it's awesome. What are your plans for solving that congestion?
What do you mean?
Like expanding the space for cars to go in at 300 south?
I'm sorry, what did you say? No, I didn't hear those.
Expanding the space for cars to pull in long line.
We don't have any plans for that. We don't have any plans for that. Believe me, that's one thing that worries me, whoever asked that question. That's one thing that causes me stress and anxiety is if I drive by and I see that line that's like clear down University Avenue and I'm like, oh, and somebody is trying to turn left. Do not turn left into Sodalicious. Don't. Just go up and around and get back in line. Like, don't try and turn left because it just shuts down that street. And, but we've worked a lot with the city on that. We have really worked with the city. We've worked with the police. There's people that have complained to the mayor. Like every Friday they send him an email. And really, their response is, Sodalicious is doing everything Sodalicious is supposed to be doing. If Sodalicious starts doing something they're not supposed to be doing, then we'll talk to them about it. But if some idiot wants to park, and I'm sorry that I say that, but really, if you want to park perpendicular in the street and get hit by somebody coming off of University or something, then that's that person's issue, And the police have been out before to kind of kindly remind people how to be courteous drivers, even though, while they're waiting in line for their drink. And we try and get those people through as fast as we can. So, but no plans on expand. We actually offered up a plan in the beginning to community development to do this whole different drive that would have accommodated a lot more cars, and they're like, no, you don't need to do that. We wouldn't have been able to pay for it anyways. Oh, that's for you. Yes.
What is your favorite drink?
My favorite drink is not on the menu because nobody likes it except me, and it is Diet Mountain Dew with ruby red grapefruit and passion fruit and something called Sweet Heat. And Sweet Heat is like ghost pepper extract. It's super hot, and I do like a lot of it. And so nobody likes it, but it's called Kevin's Crack, and I'm totally hooked on it. Anyways, so yeah, they would totally know.
You should do like start with 2 pumps. I mean,
It does. I mean, it'll warm you here. It really does a number on you. So, you'll start. I'm thinking about it. I just start sweating, So, anyways, but I love it. So, here for you. You can go get yourself some Kevin's Crack. All right. Anyone else? Did you have one?
No, I was just going to ask if I could order it, what it was called.
Yes. There you go. Any other questions? Yes.
I'm admitting I've never been there.
Okay.
I gave up pop.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering, do you sell it as Italian chocolate?
We do in the wintertime. So it's seasonal. It's seasonal. It's not, It's pretty labor intensive to make and keep going. We have lemonades, and we've got like sports drinks like Powerade and stuff like that, and we have horchata, some whipped drinks, Orange Bang. So yeah, there's some fun stuff. Do you like Orange Bang? Is that what you were doing?
No, I was telling when my Italian hot pocket fell over, it just was like barely spilled out.
Because it's so thick, you're just like, yeah, I'll just leave it right there and pick it up with a spoon. Can you pass that back to her?
Well, now, do you have anything that doesn't have sugar in it?
We have sugar-free. We have sugar-free syrups, and we have some sugar like diet sodas. So, yeah, we do. But not the cookies or the Rice Krispie treats or anything like that. Those are loaded with sugar. Sorry, we're at a 1 drink limit. Anybody else? You guys, oh yes.
Do you guys sell those Provo City t-shirts?
We're giving one away tonight, yes, and we do sell them there at just at the Johnny's Barbershop location. So this was, I had worked a deal for Pepsi to become one of the headline sponsors of the rooftop concert, and you know, I have a really great relationship with Pepsi, and they in turn told the rooftop people that they would like me to represent them on the night that it was their night. That was the July 3rd night, and to go up and give the Pepsi spiel and all that stuff. And so, which I was super happy about, but I wanted a t-shirt. I wanted a vintage Pepsi t-shirt, or I wanted like a Chinese Pepsi t-shirt or something, but I couldn't find anything because everything was like small, and I'm extra large. And so I was like, I'm just going to create something, because I was looking at all these cool old Pepsi logos and stuff, and I'm just gonna have my graphic designer turn that Pepsi Cola into Provo City. And he did it, and I just loved how it turned out, and so I wore it for the rooftop. But yeah, so we have a limited number of them, but there's some there right now. And I figured if there's any time to like infringe on Pepsi's trademark, it was while they were like, we're all buddy-buddy, right? So, let me pass that back to her. Anyone else? My favorite t-shirt maker, though, is back here, Mr. LeSuey from Stately Type. So, this doesn't touch any of his shirts. So, anyways, any other questions before we close? You guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.